Somehow, I wanted to believe my husband, but I knew he was cheating. I was sad and frustrated, but more than that, I was appalled at my husband's lack of taste. How could he fall for a woman like that? When my husband came home from work, I showed him the photo evidence. My husband was a little surprised, and his face turned pale, but he answered me back surprisingly.
You went through all that trouble to find out. If you thought it was suspicious, why didn't you just ask me directly?
If I had asked you, would you have confessed?
Yeah, I would have, because I was thinking it was time to end it with you.
Huh? My name is Karen. I'm a 27 years old office worker. I have always been into games, and I met my husband Tom at the game event. To be honest, he gave me a dark impression when we first met. His hair was a mess, and his eyebrows were busy. He had unfashionable glasses that made him look like a student, and didn't care what he wore. However, when I actually talked to him, I found him to be an interesting person who was kind and chose his words with a good sense. At first, I had the impression that I had made an interesting friend. Then we started hanging out with another friend of mine, and the three of us started going out together, and I closer to my husband. Then, about 6 months after I met my husband, he suddenly asked me out as a girlfriend. I was feeling comfortable with him, so we started dating. Then, a little after we started dating, my husband told me that he wanted to become a man who would look good with me. He asked me to help him to change his looks. Apparently, he was worried about how people saw us as we walked together on the street. I wasn't particularly concerned about how people saw us, since I chose to be with him. My husband thought that people were wondering why such a dorky man was with me, which made him feel depressed. I thought, why not? I could help him to change his look so he can feel better, and I launched a plan to give my husband a makeover. First, a haircut. I sent my husband, who always goes to the neighborhood barber, to a popular hair salon to get his hair done. Then, I learned how to do men's eyebrows from YouTube and gave my husband a lecture. These two details made a surprisingly big difference in my husband's appearance. He had clear eyes and a slim nose to begin with, so by properly adjusting his hair and eyebrows, he was transformed to a handsome man. Next, the clothes. I chose his clothes according to my taste, and I dressed him in a pair of simple, well-tailored outfits, since my husband is tall and slim, so he looked like a model from a fashion magazine. It was quite a transformation that I wondered if this was really the same person. I thought that he looked so different now that if he posted his selfies on social media, he could easily become an influencer. Since then, every time we walked together on the street, I noticed that people looked at us in a different way. My husband also said that the change in his appearance made him very confident. And after a year of dating, my husband proposed to me, saying that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me, with a person that has changed him positively. We got married shortly after and entered our second year of living together. At the regular game events that we attended, the people celebrated our marriage. We were a famous couple at such events, and some of those people who've known us for a long time said that we were originally a Beauty and the Beast couple, but the Beast curse had been lifted, and that we were just a beautiful couple. As such, we were spending quality time together, enjoying our hobbies and work. But then, Rachel appears before us. Rachel met my husband and I for the first time at one of those gaming events. She looked very gorgeous, like a girl who would hang out in a club. Well, nowadays, even very beautiful actresses are into gaming, and they publicly announce that, so it would not be surprising to find someone like that among the gamers. However, this Rachel girl seems to have little interest in games. She seems to be participating at the events with a different purpose. Rachel always talks to various people in a very friendly manner. She often casually touches men, and upon closer inspection, I found that she asked where they lived, their occupation, and estimated their income levels. She then approached only those she thought to have high income. In the midst of all this, Rachel finally started to flirt with my husband Tom. "You are so incredibly handsome, Tom. Are you a model or an actor?"
No, I'm just a regular company employee.
"Wow, if there was such a good-looking guy at work, I would fall in love right away. I'm sure you look cool in a suit too."
No way.
My husband was trying to act like he was calm in front of me, but he was obviously happy to receive those flirty comments from her. Then someone at the event said to her,
Oh no, Rachel. Tom has a great wife named Karen.
Rachel heard this and said, "Are you married, Tom? Too bad. I wish we had met earlier." Oh dear. She had some level of consideration, thank goodness. I thought for a moment. Rachel still didn't seem to stop flirting with Tom. "How is your wife like? Does she allow you to participate in an event like this with other women?"
My wife is here too, you know.
I moved next to my husband and greeted Rachel. "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Karen, Tom's wife." Rachel kept a smile on her face and said, "Nice to meet you too. I see that both of you are into games. It's nice to have a common hobby," pretending to be comfortable with the idea. But I could sense a kind of hostility emanating from her. Then she started talking to me like she wanted to get to know me better. It was a little too much for me. What on earth was she thinking? I was so intent on carefully observing Rachel, and I was exhausted after a long day of the event. After that, Rachel began to send me many messages. She asked me if I wanted to go for a coffee together, or if I wanted to have dinner with her. I had no idea what her intentions were in approaching me, but she frequently asked me to go out together. She was so persistent that I decided to go for a coffee with her once. At first, Rachel asked about my work, how I was in school, and so on. Gradually, she began to ask about my husband. "The apartment where you two live is pretty expensive, isn't it? He's a good-looking guy with a high income, isn't he perfect?" She is obviously coming after my husband. "Please throw a home party next time. I will definitely be there." Who would do such a dangerous thing? I don't like drinking at home, so I don't think I will do it. Rachel tried to arrange a meeting with my husband after that, but I made sure to keep her out from us. For a while after that, Rachel contacted me frequently, but one day she stopped contacting me. Then, as if to replace it, I noticed suspicious activity from my husband. He began to take frequent business trips. We had been married for 2 years, and my husband had never been on a business trip. I decided to investigate to find out what was going on. I asked a detective agency to look into it, and soon I was able to obtain evidence of his affair with Rachel. Somehow, I wanted to believe my husband, but I knew he was cheating. I was sad and frustrated, but more than that, I was appalled at my husband's lack of taste. How could he have fallen for a woman like that? When my husband came home from work, I showed him the photo evidence. My husband was a little surprised, and his face turned pale, but he answered me back surprisingly.
You went through all that trouble to find out. If you thought it was suspicious, why didn't you just ask me directly?
If I have asked you, would you have confessed?
Yeah, I would have, because I was thinking it was time to end it with you. It means Rachel is a better woman than you.
I'm speechless. She completely tricked you. How did Rachel get close to you in the first place? She was pushing me so hard to make an opportunity to meet you.
We just happened to run into each other at the station, and so we went to a cafe and exchanged our phone numbers. Well, Rachel said she was waiting for me, At first, she said she wanted to get to know you better. So we started talking about you and other stuff. Then we got drunk and she asked me to sleep with her. And that's how we ended up.
You've fallen for the typical strategy, haven't you? Oh, okay, that's enough. I interrupted him, took out the divorce papers, and asked him to sign them. I don't want any alimony from you.
Seriously? Lucky me. Okay, let's get a divorce then.
In exchange, give me all the property division.
Huh? Okay, I don't mind.
And I will make sure Rachel pays me alimony. It's cheaper if you split with her.
Okay, I will do it.
My husband grinned and signed the divorce papers. He probably thought that I didn't have any money saved up. In fact, I had been saving up to buy a home of my own and had been investing in stocks and other investments. I guess he didn't expect that I would be able to save that much in just 2 years. In fact, I happened to get lucky and made a huge profit from stocks just recently. That brought my savings to $100,000 all at once. I didn't tell my husband because I wanted to surprise him when we talked about buying a house. I'm so glad I did not tell him. After that, the divorce was successfully finalized, and I got all the property division as well as the alimony from Rachel, and the plan was a great success. By the way, Rachel had settled in that luxury apartment after I left. Moreover, she thought that the apartment was rented with my ex-husband's salary, so she quit her job and went there. We were able to live in that apartment because we were both working. Moreover, my salary is higher than my ex-husband's. In the end, my ex-husband couldn't pay the rent with his salary alone, so they moved out right away. Rachel sent me an angry message saying that his salary was just an average level, but I replied that it was her misunderstanding and blocked her. In the end, Rachel disappeared from my ex-husband's life. My husband was not very experienced with women, so he was easily dumped by her. He was shocked that Rachel dumped him so easily and got very depressed, so he continued to take time off from work and eventually resigned. He now stays at his parents' house and no longer cares about his appearance and plays game all day long. It seems that he looks worse than when I met him and takes no responsibility within the society. It's none of my business anymore though. Meanwhile, I moved to a more economical apartment and continue to save money. At this rate, I'm going to keep on saving, so I will buy my ideal home in the near future. I'm going to find a new love life as soon as possible while putting the best effort into my work. At the same time, I will enjoy my life day by day. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.